Good morning, everyone. Wednesday morning over here, 1 week and 1 day before CanvasCon. If you haven't registered, you need to. Did you know that you actually run out of registration on Friday of this week? If you don't sign up, you're going to be really sad because you're not going to be able to go. We are here with a couple of rock stars. Rachel and Kelly are going to talk to us today all about using digital content in Canvas. And I know Kelly just from a previous meeting. I know Rachel, and she's one of the kind of queens of all things Canvas around here. So get ready to have your socks blown off. With that, Kelly and Rachel, start teaching us.
Thanks, Mark. We're excited to be here today to talk about digital content in Canvas. And like Mark said, I'm Rachel Lee. I'm a manager on the Learning Services team. And part of our team includes dedicated consultants that work with state initiatives or districts, as well as training and instructional design services. And my group are the dedicated folks and the folks that work as consultants. And so we're here today to share with you some of our favorite ways that our clients and people we work with are using digital content in Canvas. So we wanted to start with highlighting some of the statewide projects. So out of California, we have the CCEE, which is the California Collaboration for Excellence in Education. We have New Mexico Public Education Department, the Virtual Virginia Project, and the Nevada Department of Education. And they're all doing something a little bit different to get content out to their teachers. So if we start with Kern County Office of Ed, Kern created 9-week modules that were complete modules for teachers on a wide range of topics, everything from kindergarten math to high school social emotional learning and all content in between. Over 50 different modules were created and shared, not just shared with Kern County Office teachers, but also the entire state. So while Kern is publishing to the Commons, they're not publishing to a private Commons, they're publishing to the public Commons. And so anyone can take advantage of this content. Anyone across the United States actually can take advantage of this content. It is tied and labeled as California standards, but you could easily tweak those standards to be your own state standards. And if you're interested in looking for these materials, you can search for CDLC or California Continued Learning. The other thing that I think is really great about this project is that lots of times I hear that teachers, are unsure how to get started. They have that blank canvas or they have a blank template and they haven't quite visualized how their content can be organized. A great thing to do is to come in here and use the Commons preview mode to take a look at how the modules are organized, how videos are displayed, how content can be laid out for even some of our youngest learners, all the way up to some of our, concurrent enrolled students as well. Really neat project. Another great project coming out of the county office in California is from San Bernardino. And San Bernardino has published, again, to the entire world in the public commons, strategies for professional development. All of their topics revolve around how to design great Canvas courses that support high quality learning. And so you can look at some of the topics on the screen. There are, 3 times this in the Commons available. Things like how do we design keeping UDL in mind? And so again, if you're interested in looking at some of these resources and using some of these resources yourself, you can search for California Continued Learning. And Orange County out of California has also used the Canvas Commons to provide what they call flip modules. This is facilitated learning with integration and personalization. So if you're looking for how to personalize learning for elementary and middle school students, you can search for the modules coming out of Orange County by either searching again for that California Continued Learning or flip. And what I think is so great about this project is rather than keeping that content contained just for the teachers in their own state or their own districts and counties, they've made that publicly available for anyone inside of Commons.
Hey, Rachel, let's take a quick pause real quick, just in case there is someone out there who is not a big time user of the community and of the Commons. Rachel, do you want to give just a 30,000 foot view? What is the Commons? how valuable is this stuff? Because I think there's a lot who don't know, which is sad.
So the Commons is an amazing open educational resource. So we often refer to that as an OER. These are resources that are created and made available for anyone to download and use inside of their own Canvas courses. And in your global navigation bar, you'll find a link to the Canvas Commons. It'll just say Commons on it if it's been enabled in your district. And if it hasn't been, that's a conversation you could have with your district leadership team. The reason that Commons is so valuable is not only do you have your own district minds that you can tap into about how to create content inside of Canvas for student learning, you have the minds of all of the educators in that use Commons from around the world, actually, that are contributing inside of the Commons with content that can be downloaded and used. Sometimes fully developed courses or quarter courses are, made available. And sometimes it's something as simple as one quiz or one lesson plan done as a page or one specific module on maybe a book study, for example. And so I think you would be hard pressed to have a topic that doesn't already have resources out there. I really believe that teachers have been sharing inside of the Commons for years, and no matter what you teach, you can find some resource in the Commons that will help to speed up the creation of materials for student learning for your subject matter.
Love it. And so here's my 2 cents on the Commons. There is no need in Canvas to start from scratch if you're brand new. Absolutely no need. I see so many teachers on a regular basis who are stressed and worried, and that's normal because of what we're going through, and we are so sorry, and we're so in here to help you. But the Commons is that place where literally there are templates beyond templates beyond templates for you to just use for free. So go check it out right now. Great resources like what Rachel and Kelly are talking about. Okay, Rachel, I'm done for at least a minute of interrupting you.
No, that's great. Thank you so much. There are other ways that groups have shared resources as well inside of the Commons. And so another project out of California is a community college project called OEI. And the OEI has created these course contents that really can be used in high school or in concurrent enrollment. Some of our more advanced topics can be found here. Some of these courses are designed for online, fully online, hybrid scenarios, or even face-to-face classes. So really customizable depending on your specific teaching environment. So highly recommend you search for, especially if you're looking for some of those advanced topics, search for CCC or CVC OEI, or the content actually comes from a project called OpenStax, and you can find OpenStax content as well, collated already for you through the California Community Colleges Project. In addition, this project also created a professional development series of courses, again, to support student learning, things like accessibility and humanizing teaching and learning online. And some of these topics are so incredibly relevant right now as we're all trying to deliver instruction in an online format. And so if you're struggling with not only finding content for your students to use, but how to deliver this content in this new world that we now find ourselves in, check out some of these courses because they can really bring some great strategies to teachers who, are just trying to figure out how to really be effective and engaging in a virtual environment.
Rachel, my minute is up, so I'm back again. Mark, great comment here on Twitter. Loves the Commons. Wishes there was some level of quality which needed to be reached before publication. So let me add in my 2 cents, and then I'll let Rachel and Kelly talk as well. Great point and great things for us to think about. That's a good thing for us to take back to the team. But I do think there are certain people on there that kind of have they consistently put out just incredible content. That those are really safe ones to keep looking at. And you'll find those people. I'm happy to give you some ideas as well if you want to reach out to me. But great point. There is a whole lot of content there. That is the good and the bad of the community and the Commons, is there is just so much goodness with educators helping educators, but we hear you.
One thing I do in that scenario is I'll often favorite. If I find a resource that is really great quality, I'll favorite it, because then I'll be reminded of who that person is that is publishing those types of resources. I also often lurk on the most downloaded, because I feel like if a resource is really valuable and well designed, it's going to be one of our highest downloaded resources. And so I often kind of check out materials those two ways. I want to turn some time over to Kelly Lazicki, who's one of our principal learning consultants on the learning services team, for her to share a little bit more about what some of our other state projects are doing.
Thanks, Rachel. First of all, thank you. This is my first time on here, and thank you for inviting me, Mark. And Mark, who left the comment, I am so glad that Rachel, that you mentioned that, because I was going to say you can actually filter by those favorited and downloaded items. So that's one way to kind of get to the most popular, and the most popular tend to be the quality items. So that's one of the strategies that I use. So I've recently started working with the state of Nevada, and I have a team of peers who are working with other states and large districts. And there are different ways that they tend to share out information in commons and resources in commons. So there's just a few examples here. This first one is New Mexico. And what they've done is they've got a commons consortium put together, and they are currently focused on math concepts, but they're also exploring adding some additional OERs, or those open educational resources, to add to their collection.
Forgot I was controlling the slides.
That's okay. Virginia. Specifically Virtual Virginia, has been putting content into their commons and then sharing it with the entire state, the Virginia Department of Education. And they are doing a couple of things. They're approving resources that people are putting together, and they're also creating entire courses, outreach courses that they're sharing publicly, but within that Virginia Department of Education commons. And Nevada has just recently gotten started with setting up their commons instance, and they're jumping on the bandwagon of learning that they can feature items. So, talking about that, I wish there was a level of quality. This is one way that you can do that. You can give admin rights to certain people in your institution who can go through and approve or feature some of the content that gets pushed out. So that way, it's another thing that you can do is filter by featured or approved resources. So Nevada has begun doing so, and they are sharing within their consortium of Nevada districts.
I don't want everyone to leave just thinking you have to be part of a state project in order to find some of these great materials, because there are a lot of different ways that content is being shared. And one way that you can find content publicly available for anyone inside of Commons is to search for different vendors, even, or different groups that are publishing content. For example, Apple Education has just partnered with the College Board to endorse their CS Principles courses, their computer science courses. And you can download these and learn to develop with Swift just by accessing the Commons, or use these with your students if you're a computer science teacher, for example. Special Olympics is also published materials inside of the Commons about inclusion and ways that teachers can foster socially inclusive communities inside of Canvas. And, just search for Special Olympics to find their content. Instructure also provides resources for you. We have courses on how to use Mastery Connect in this online world. And I think most people are familiar with our 3 training courses: the Grow with Canvas for teachers, the Passport to Canvas for students, and the Be the Hero for school administrators that are really managing the entire instance and the back end tools of Canvas. So check out those, and you can search for those by searching for K-12 or Mastery Connect or even online teaching. You also don't need to be a company in order to find this content. Like we alluded to earlier, we have amazing educators from our community that are creating resources that are that high quality that we're looking for. And I wanted to highlight 2 that I know of that are doing incredible modules. And Paula Jasser out of Broward County, Florida, is creating personalized playlists for learning. And these are science topics that include many open educational resources and digital tools that help to teach these different methods, but using a personalized approach of things that students have to do, things that they can do, and things that they may do. And that's kind of a personalized learning method. So if you're a personalized learning district, check out these modules. Another teacher that's creating great content is out of Utah, Alpine District, Philip Haney, and he has taken some of the code.org open educational resources and organized them into modules to make this easier for teachers to facilitate and use all around computer science topics. There are other great educators out there. I would love to add to this list. So if you know of any, if you could put them into the chat, or if you yourself are one of these educators, please reach out to Mark and let us know so that we can start to build out this resource over time. Commons isn't the only way, though, to take advantage of open educational resources. There are a couple of great resources that exist, like the OER Commons, which is a organization that's separate from the Canvas Commons. And the OER Commons curates digital collections. So think of it like as a personal digital librarian that finds the best resources out there on any topic and organizes them into a presentation that students can use. And so you might be wondering, well, how will I take advantage of that content? And we're going to talk about how you can embed that content. Another great project comes out of Georgia. It's the Georgia Virtual Learning Institution. And you'll notice that there are all subjects there: language arts, math, science, social studies, CTE, fine arts, world arts. And right below where it says subject, if you look at the section right below where it says courses, you can see the specific courses that they also have built out. And again, we're going to talk in a second about embedding this content into your Canvas course. So while this isn't in the Canvas Commons, these are open educational resources that you can easily put into your Canvas courses. And so the way we would do that is to use some sort of an iframe generator. One that I often use is just iframe generator. I put the link in the bottom of this slide, and it's very easy to use. You don't need to know code. You just need to know how to copy and paste. And so the first thing you do is you copy the URL from the resource that you found that you want to use. You'll set your parameters for how wide and what height you need. And I often will use 900 by 1500. And then you just paste the URL and click the button to generate the code. I often will preview it to make sure that it's going to work, and then I click the copy it button. In Canvas, I open up the rich content editor. So anywhere that you have a rich content editor, which is nearly in all areas of Canvas, you can easily embed content by clicking on the Insert Edit Media icon, and then you just paste in that code you copied and save. And what it'll look like is this example right here. So this is a digital collection about the 1918 pandemic. Thought that might be interesting to some people right now. And so very easily you can see that this content is embedded right inside of Canvas. So you don't even need to curate or collate all of these digital resources that exist on topics. You could use the OER or resource or Georgia materials and just embed them directly into Canvas as well. So I want to pause here and see what ideas exist inside of the community before I talk about LTIs. Mark, has anybody else shared any resources that they've used, OERs, or anyone else that they follow that we should make note of inside of the comments?
We've got a quiet group on here today. Reminder, everybody, to drop in the comments any of those thoughts, and we'll share them. Let's keep going, Rachel.
Okay. The last way that I wanted to highlight that you can actually take advantage of open educational resources is through an LTI integration. And so CK12 is a very popular LTI integration that has free teacher created and vetted, which was important, STEM content. Not just STEM content, though. They're expanding to include all subject areas. And through your Apps tab inside of your settings, inside of your Canvas instance or your Canvas course, you can add this LTI, find the resource that you're looking for, find the specific topic that you want to add to your course, and using an LTI, very quickly add additional resources. So those are just a few of the ways, Mark, we wanted to highlight that we are ingesting and using open educational resources and sharing content out with teachers in Canada.
Love it. I hope everyone took note there. It was a couple slides back where Rachel shared the kind of, I'm going to say it, Rachel, but don't take offense, the stupid, easy way of how to be able to throw this into an iframe. Like you, as long as you can use Command C or whatever kind of computer you have, you can do this. I promise. Tony here on YouTube is asking us, so if we don't see OER resources in our commons, such as Georgia Virtual School, we need to have our district turn this on?
Nope, you don't. The Georgia Virtual Materials and the OER Commons are actually websites that exist outside of Canvas. And if I go, I'll actually, let me pop this into the chat. Or do I have to give it to you to go into the chat, Mark?
Just give it to me. Put it in the private chat, and then I'll give it to everybody.
Okay.
Tony, right now you were thinking, oh, I'm so upset. What am I going to do? And yet Rachel, again, swoops in for the win.
And so what I wanted to say is these are linked to their website. So where it says Georgia Virtual Learning or the OER Commons, those are links directly to those web pages. And I think this should be this presentation that Mark can share with everyone, that you go to that website, you find the resource that you want there. I looked for the OER one, I just said, what are you looking for? And I actually just started with science because I tend to naturally gravitate to those topics, and found one that was interesting and copied the URL, went to my iframe generator, pasted it in, and you can look at the slides for the steps going forward.
Rachel, is it set up for sharing for anyone so that anybody outside of us can access it?
I am pretty sure, but it doesn't hurt for me to triple check that. So do you want to stop sharing the presentation, and I'll make sure my settings are all.
I actually most definitely do.
Yes.
Here looks like it. Tony's saying perfect. Thank you. Catherine's saying thank you. So fantastic. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you're able to get in there. Just leave us a comment really quick if you're not able to access that, if you would. That would be helpful. Again, that was awesome. Amanda says, I agree, Amanda.
Thank you.
I agree. Kelly and Rachel are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Luckily, I just get to be surrounded by awesome people on these things on a regular basis. Bill, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Okay, with that, we are back tomorrow morning, everyone. We've got a fun presentation from one of our great customers out in the Chicago area, Sean Newfer. He is talking about creating Canvas pages that look amazing. So 10:30 a.m., meet us tomorrow morning. Remember, CanvasCon is a week from Thursday, and registration closes on Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain. Literally, if you come to me and Rachel and say, oh, I was 3 minutes late, I can't register, we're going to say, sorry. So right now, go to the site, register. You're going to want it so that you can access all of the on-demand content if you're not able to by chance attend live. We hope you can. The swag this year is going to be redonk-electronic. You don't want to miss it. So join us, everybody. Thanks to Rachel and Kelly. Have a lovely day, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.